Hi, I'm Christian Chua. Welcome to this video, and if you stick to the end, what you're going to learn is how you are going to read people in an instant. Just by looking at their faces, you can tell who's going to be the aggressive type, who's going to be the passive type. You're going to learn how do you identify those who like to work independently and those who like to work in a team. You can even tell whether a person has some grief, personal grief. Does it sound interesting? So stick to the end. I'd like to begin by explaining to you that this is not a fortune-telling, face-reading genre. Rather, this science is based on epigenetics. And epigenetics is a new science, it's about 20 years old. And epigenetics says that while your DNA remains the same throughout your lifetime, there's such a thing called gene expression. This means that what you learn, what people tell you, your environment affects the expression of your genes. And your genes express it and manifest it on your facial structure. And that is why sometimes when you look at a person and you say, I don't quite trust this person. And then I ask you, how do you come to that conclusion? And you said, I don't know, I just have that feeling. No, you are picking up based on the features on their face, and you have a database of similar looking people that behave exactly the same way. And that's why you said, I don't quite trust this person because I've seen that look before. Okay, so this is going to be a very exciting video, and let's just jump right into it. In our first picture, I'm showing you this famous identical twin. They are astronauts. That's Scott and Mark Kelly, but they don't live together. They live separately, and you can see they look similar. They're not identical. Scott has a smaller jaw while Mark has a broader jaw. This immediately tells me that Mark is going to be a little bit more aggressive, more stubborn in a way that he deals with people, and Scott will be the friendlier one. But as we zoom in, we see something even more interesting. One of them, the ear, Scott's ear is sticking out and Mark's ear is less sticking out. You know what it tells me? It tells me that Scott's personal life is more interesting while Mark is a bit more compliant and less extreme. How do we tell this? I'm going to share with you, and you're going to be quite amazed that the left side of your face reveals your personal side and the right side of your face reveals your professional side. Okay, we'll talk about the eyelids. Okay, this is the first point I'm going to share with you, eyelids. So take note. If you have mono eyelids or single eyelids or no eyelids as they call it, when I say no eyelids, it doesn't mean that you sleep with your eyes open. It just means that when your eyes are open, you don't see the eyelids. It's tucked below the lids. And for the other expression is they have double eyelids, or sometimes we call it massive eyelids. Okay, so which one do you have? Okay, those with single or no eyelids, they are more task-oriented or pragmatic people. Those with double eyelids, they are more affectionate. So let's put this into context. If your spouse have double eyelids, she expects or he expects a lot of affection from you. And if you have no eyelids, you're more pragmatic, practical. And that's where sometimes the relationship clashes a bit. Say on Valentine's Day, the affectionate spouse expect roses or wine and have a dine. They expect a gift. They expect you to shower love and affection on the spouse. But if you have a single eyelid or no eyelids, then you want to be more practical, and you said, if I buy you roses, roses will die. Can I buy you a toaster? Okay, and that is where the problem lies. So those of you who have no eyelids, you are more pragmatic. And those of you who have double eyelids, you are more affectionate. Now, the next picture I want to show you, these are two kids. We'll talk about the nose bridge, okay? The nose bridge. So it's from one eye to the other eye. How high is this nose bridge? On your left, That's how a normal kid looks like. Okay, it's called neoteny, a youngish feature. And most kids have very low nose ridge. But why the guy on your right, Iqbal Mashir, has such adult-like features? Okay, we are talking about this part of the bone. Why adult feature? The sad story is Iqbal Mashir was sold off by his dad when he was 4 years old as a child for slavery because he couldn't repay £8. But this boy, instead of dying in the camp, he did a prison break. He was so strong in terms of his character. He did a prison break, he escaped, he surrendered himself to the police. Unfortunately, the police was corrupted and returned him back to the slave owners. But he did a second prison break. Can you imagine at 4 years old, 6 years old, you can do a prison break? And this time, he ran further and he surrendered himself to the authorities. I mean, he approached the authorities and they helped him out, and eventually he became a speaker. Unfortunately, he was assassinated. That the point I want to make is, when you look at his face, he's just so different from those normal kids because he has such personal assurance, and he had such determination to survive, and he has such, listen to this, independence. So those people with high nose ridge can think for themselves. They don't need a lot of people around them to support them because they have the tenacity and the audacity to survive. Then we talk about the eyebrow, and then I'm going to put it into a practical lesson. The eyebrow, the higher the eyebrow, the more empathetic. The lower the eyebrow, the more intense. So like people like Tom Cruise, they always hire him for that look. Always the spy movies, very intense look. Okay, because they are more left brain, more practical, they are more analytical. And those sitcoms and all those, the friendlier people, they have higher eyebrows, and the eyebrows are curved, okay, as you see in the picture here. Now as I show you these three famous world leaders, first one is Margaret Thatcher, the second one is Indira Gandhi, and the third one is Corazon Aquino. Can you see these three huge women, huge in terms of their position in society? Margaret Thatcher has a lower eyebrow. She has more intense look, and they call her the Iron Lady. Remember the Falklands War? She just stood up against Argentina, sent the warships, and then she was hailed like the hero. For Indira Gandhi, you could see that she had double eyelids, so she's more in between of Corazon Aquino and Margaret Thatcher. She was both left brain and right brain. But for Corazon Aquino, they call her the mother of Philippines. You see how friendly and how motherly she is, and that's exactly how it's depicted on her face. High eyebrows, that friendly look, and that's exactly what this whole program helps you to reveal people. Okay, I know some people say, oh, you should not be so judgmental, oh, you should not discriminate. Science call it profiling. Okay, and that's why we have things like criminal profiling, or even HR does that all the time, the psychometric tools, to find out who you are and which domain you belong to. And so they say, this guy's right for our company, the right job fit. That's the reason why we profile. But instead of taking all the psychometric tools, all you need to do is learn how to do face reading, and you profile people just like that. Okay?